All right, we got plenty of blue guns. We're good to go. Okay. Miss Candace, why don't you introduce yourself and your bona fides?
Oh gosh, you know I'm terrible at that part. So, my name is Candace. I've trained Jiu Jitsu a long time. I've competed a lot. It's been really fun and really exciting. When I started competing, we didn't have things like age brackets. So when I was competing, I was usually competing against 22-year-old fitness models, whether I was 22 or whether I was 38. So that was a different experience. It's exciting. I like it. They've recently introduced age brackets for women, thanks to a friend of mine. So I'm thinking we can all look forward to competing well into our 70s.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Right. So I started in Kempo when I was 18 under Mr. Skip Hancock. I now get to train out of Mr. Lawrence Robinson out of Arizona, which is very exciting.
When you can get him to get on the Skype.
Yeah, I gotta harass him a lot. I've had a lot more success than I expected and way more fun. And the fun is usually the better part than the success. Success is great, medals are awesome, but you can't eat them. But what you can do is you can take every skill that you have with you and it becomes a tool that you get to use for the rest of your life. Anything else I need to say?
Why don't you talk about your competition results?
I won stuff. I won a lot of stuff. Is that good?
Wow. Don't you love it when people are too humble for their own good, okay? Candace is a badass grappling. Don't fight her. She will beat you up. Okay, so
I've only won world once. Okay. I did win the US Open 6 times and the Absolute Division 4 times. And some other stuff, but that's not why we're here. So anyway, go ahead.
All we're saying is she knows what she's doing, okay? So we know what we're doing. Now, what our goal here is today is to have some fun and to learn a little something. And if you come with an attitude of, I have some ego to defend today, I have to get something today, I have to prove that I'm a badass today, a couple things will happen. Number one, you won't learn anything. Number two, you run the risk of hurting yourself or someone else, okay? Recognize that the emergency room is about a 25-minute drive, okay? So, and if you, for instance, get a little egotistic and decide to do a little drop seonagi on your partner and snap his arm, then the adrenaline will wear off about halfway to the emergency room.
Where you will be going with them.
Yes, and then when they start punching you in the face because their arm hurts like crazy, that's on you, okay? So what the reality is here, we have a fairly sterile floor, and but what I want us all to do is I want us to spend a minute, and I just want you to check through and see if you find any rocks, anything bad on the floor, anything that's not what you want. Just go find, so if God forbid somebody ends up on their butt.
Okay. Pretend belt for you. Does everybody have a belt of some kind or something they can pretend holster a gun in?
Like this. Notice I don't have a holster here, but these are blue guns, right? Another thing we want to talk about, I know I've talked about this a little bit, this is the environment where we have to recognize a inner training tool for what it is, okay? Because when I did a beginner class yesterday morning, and of course I said, listen, I'm going to be very, very cautious here about handling this appropriately, about not pointing it at anybody and those kinds of things. In this environment, if we do that, it's worthless training. Because, for instance, one of the biggest things that we're working on is me getting a gun out and in the fight and getting it on whoever it is that I have deemed as my threat. This is what this tool is designed for. If you're not comfortable with that, if you feel like that's something that we should never do with these kinds of tools, and I'm an NRA certified pistol instructor, right? And NRA says I have to treat these like a live firearm. My answer to that is get rid of them. They give me no benefit in that case. However, here, that lets me do that. And if Candace and I'm trying to get this gun and she decided she doesn't want that, well, guess what? This is pointing all over at bad things, right? But that's what this is for, because we can do that and I can't shoot her. I can't load this or any of that stuff. So that's why we use this for what it is. And in this environment, we're not going to be flippant with that. So I'm not going to... Bye, everybody. Bye. But that's what it's for, okay? And I don't have to go, oh no, where's my safe direction in order to, fake holster this gun again. It doesn't exist, and that's what the training tool is for. But you understand that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Other thing of that said, you've got point. This one's pretty dull, but for instance, I have a couple of Surf guns. These guys shoot laser beams. Okay, the laser beam is kind of fun because I can say, okay, wait a minute. If I'm here to thumb pectoral index, where's that bullet going, and those kind of things. Gives me a little bit of those. But the bumpy things on top can get a little sharpy, so we have to moderate our effort level. Make sense? So one of our training goals, one of the things we always have to do when we're training in this kind of environment is we have to the best of our ability, mitigate risk that we can mitigate while gaining the training value that we want. Now, of course, the value always have to outweigh the risk, right? If what I get out of it doesn't justify the risk, then we don't do it. Which is why we use these. People ask me all the time, well, John, if you've never taken your actual gun and put the actual sights on somebody and press the trigger, well, then you don't really know. And I go, no, the value of that does not outweigh the risk of that. Unless we somehow put a training barrel in the gun or something like that, right? If we put a barrel block in the gun, maybe we can do that. But that's what these are for. We understand that? So you're going to see us doing those things, that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing stuff like, oh, okay, listen, if I press this out of battery, guess what? Somebody's going to go, oh my God, you pointed a gun at your hand. No, I did not. I pointed a blue piece of plastic at my hand that is a training tool that looks like a gun for the purposes of our activity. But feel good about that? Awesome.
But treat it like it's a real gun in all other senses.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like pointed at the ground.
We're not playing games.
Right, we're not playing games. And the purpose of having a training gun, right, is so that when you have a real one, you can make your mistakes with this one, so that when you have a real one, you don't do something dumb, right? So definitely keep that in your head. Just don't freak out if you're doing something that you wouldn't do with a real gun, okay? The other thing is, as you do this, keep in mind that this is a specific training environment and it's for a specific situation. So if Mr. Correa stands over there and he points his gun at me, just so that you know, set the context here. He points his gun at me. Okay, if he can always shoot me at that distance, that's great for him, right? Do I have to wear this even? Like if he's always going to be at that distance? No, I don't, because range, right? Yeah. This is a range weapon. It's a force multiplier at that range. So at this range, does he have a problem right now?
No.
Not really. If I am full on...
You don't know her well enough.
You do. But if I am full on running at him and maybe serpentining or whatever, does he still not have a problem?
No.
He has a small problem.
Maybe.
He's pretty good with a handgun, Candace.
Yeah, I know you are, but I'm saying it goes from... Excuse me.
Yeah.
No problem, bigger problem, more of a problem, right? More of a problem. But you see
It screams like a girl.
You see what I said? It was a bigger problem than you think. God dang, man.
Sorry. So just to kind of clarify, if you're saying to your partner, this would never work at this many feet. Yes, we know. We know that. Right? And even at this distance, this is not really a thing. He's still in a substantial position of advantage, right? This class for today, we're trying out the scenario where you're more like this, right? Now does he feel as confident? Do you have a little butterflies in your tummy more now than you did before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's good.
Biscuits and gravy.
Right? Well, and you can test that, right? Like Mr. Robinson says this too. Like you want to have an easy feeling, right? So here, do you have an easier feeling? Or do you have a much easier feeling here? And now draw, sir.
Yeah.
Easiest?
Yeah.
Easiest feeling? Right. You can tell in his eyes he looks very comfortable with this information. So, okay, please reholster, sir. Okay, so what we're talking about today is what happens right about here. Clinch distance and contact manipulation stage.
So
Okay?
let's let them experience that, guys. I want you to grab at least one blue gun between you and a partner. And wait, time out. Listen.
Hold on.
Listen first. This is what you're doing. I want you to figure out, okay, do I feel comfortable with my partner here and getting to my gun and getting it out? Or do I start to feel like, I think she could stuff that if she really wanted to, right? I just want you to feel where the comfort, where the easy feeling starts to evaporate.
Right. Where do you find an easy feeling and where do you have an uneasy feeling? Second note, try to get somebody close to your own size for the purposes of today's training. Okay. Sorry, I got to do a little segue here.
Sure.
You compete in Jiu Jitsu, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we have weight classes?
Sometimes,
Why?
to make it supposedly.
Because fat guys are harder to beat.
Yeah.
Weight is advantage.
Because if you are in concealed carry shape all year long, right, and somebody else is not, right, size does matter. It's not everything, but it's something.
Yeah.
So let's take away that something just for the purposes of today as best we can. Okay? So please get a blue gun and a partner close to your side.